Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day. We've got Paula Boone, Phil Donahue, and Pine. Thank you all so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we really, really do appreciate it. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day like this lovely bunch, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Okay, so last night, Nicole and Cliff voted out Tommy. As if that wasn't bad enough, I'm super bummed that we didn't get to see the house meeting on the feeds. That really sucked because, yeah, we're going to see some of it on Sunday, but, like, we're not going to get the full effect. And I just feel like Big Brother slammed the HOH door in our faces. Doesn't it feel like that? Like, everybody was in the HOH room talking about us, and we tried to go in there and defend ourselves, and Big Brother's like, nope, sorry, not a good time. Woo! Okay, a couple of other bullet points here about last night. I still cannot believe that they kept Holly after everything that happened, and, you know, just like, because Holly and Jackson are a showmance, like, don't you think you should split that up? But also, just like the fact that they were making it so known that they were going back and forth on this vote, and then they end up sticking with Holly and Jackson. That's just crazy to me. And I gotta give props to Jackson for pulling off a huge, crazy move, even though I'm not necessarily a fan of his. I gotta give him props because that was wild. And I'm really curious if Cliff and Nicole believed the lie about Tommy, or they just voted him out for other reasons. Okay. Judging by what I saw on the feeds from last night, it seems like they did believe Jackson's lie. Wow. Alright, so again, props to Jackson. So the show ended with the HOH competition in progress, and it was the whole stand on your disc, hang on to your rope as we swing you around and you smack into the big truck. So the feeds came back. Well, before I say what happened, I thought, whoa, this for sure is going to be Holly's competition, right? I mean, she is Ms. Endurance. She's gonna take it, and Cliff and Nicole made a huge mistake. But guess what? The feeds came back just before 7:01 p.m. It was like 7 minutes and 57 seconds, or it's not 7 minutes, 7 o'clock and like 57 seconds. So guess what? When the feeds came back, Cliff was down, and we don't see Holly drop, but she does. Right after Cliff, we see Jackson looking pissed, and just like that, the competition is over, and Nicole won HOH. She's going to the final 3, baby. What? Like, I'm really excited for Nicole, but at the same time, what? What a waste of an elaborate competition setup. It just reminds me of All-Star season, BB7, when they had like that crazy volcano endurance competition, and it was over in like 2 seconds because they were throwing it. It's wild. So anyway, Nicole was crying. So Jackson pulls her down. She didn't want to get down at first because she was waiting for like an official call from Big Brother. But I don't think they got one, probably because BB was pissed that it was over so quickly. What are they going to show on Sunday now? So, yeah, Jackson pulls her down. Holly says, I kept my word. I could have stayed up there all night. I guess she had to match Tommy's offer to throw the HOH competition, because if she didn't, why the hell are they going to keep her? Right? So I guess, yeah, she threw the competition. So Nicole says, yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you. And now everybody starts BSing each other. They are really going to act like this past week did not happen. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. So Jackson says to Nicole, you earned it. Thank y'all. You had the ability to take one of us out. And, like, obviously they didn't. And Cliff says, yeah, we were getting a lot of information. We were trying to do the best we could, you know, really downplaying it, how close they were to keeping Tommy. So they're all saying to each other, oh, I've never gone against you, I've never gone against you, neither have we, blah, blah, blah. Jackson and Holly evicted Cliff. But okay, sure. So Cliff says Tommy was spinning a lot of stuff. Nicole's apologizing because they know that she was heavily wanting Tommy to stay last week, and Holly says, it's okay, no hard feelings, I'm just happy to be here. So then the feeds go down for a little while the house guests are going back inside, and Cliff says, I'm always gonna try to do what's right. You know, we had to go through all the information and figure out what was really going on here. So Jackson says, oh, the shitty part about this game is that we don't know fact from fiction, and we won't know until we're done and we're out of here. How lucky for you, Jackson, because if they did know, you could be in a lot of trouble right now. So Nicole admits, yes, I was questioning your loyalty this week, Jackson and Holly. She says she was confused, angry, and she was wrong. No, you weren't wrong. But she says Cliff's wisdom and them like sifting through all the information together led them to make the correct decision. That remains to be seen. So everybody's just brushing everything under the rug, which is really annoying to watch. But apparently that was part of their agreement to keep Holly. They're saying, all right, if we're gonna do this, we're not gonna argue about what happened last week. We're just gonna move on. Cool. Okay, so then Cliff and Jackson were chatting alone in the kitchen, and Cliff says, Nicole and I talked a lot about the vote last week, and I really wanted us to vote the same way, but, you know, we were kind of leaning in different directions, which Jackson already knew, and Jackson says, yeah, I know that you were leaning more towards keeping Holly, so thank you. And Cliff says, I had to keep telling Nicole that Holly and Jackson were going to keep their word. And a lot of people are being very critical of Cliff online lately, especially because they feel like he's throwing Nicole under the bus. But I just feel like at the same time, he's got to play his own game here. There aren't that many people left. I mean, obviously he wants to win this too. He's not just going to hand it to Nicole. So yeah, he's still working with Nicole. He wants to go to the end with Nicole, but he's also got to look out for himself. So I think it's a little bit unreasonable, to be like, I can't believe Cliff is doing this. Why? Okay, so then, and Nicole knows about it, and she understands it. She's like, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta play your game here. So, anyway, Jackson is implying that if he wins the power of veto, he will vote out Holly. Come on, like, there is no way. There's no way. I don't buy it. So Cliff says, yeah, well, I already shook hands that I would keep you if I win the power veto. What the fook is this? Why is Cliff agreeing to take Jackson to the final 3 if he wins the power veto? All last week, Cliff and Nicole were talking about how they didn't want to go to the end with Jackson, and now Cliff is promising it. And why? Why are you doing that? So he says it wouldn't seem fair otherwise, you know, if Holly went and not you. So Cliff says if we make it to the final 3, we do get out there. You know, all deals are off at that point. There's no deals in the final 3. And he says best man, or Nicole, wins. But he says until then, I won't screw you over. Why not? And he says there were commitments made tonight and I'm honoring those. And Jackson says, likewise. They shake hands. If Jackson makes it to the end, you all deserve to lose, okay? You all deserve to lose to Jackson if he makes it to the end, because this is your fault. You've had so many opportunities to take him out and you haven't done it. Alright, so then Cliff talks to Nicole next and he's like, I just want you to know, I am not going to send Jackson home if I win the power veto. And Nicole says, okay, that's fine. No, it's not. That's not fine. So Cliff says, it's him, me, and you. We fight it out in the final 3. And Nicole says, let's do it. She says that Holly throwing the HOH was proof enough to her that Jackson and Holly are serious about this and they're going to stick to their word. Was that proof enough though? Because everybody knows the POV is the most important thing this week. Like, yeah, it's great that Nicole has safety, but the POV is the most important thing. But Nicole was not expecting Holly to follow through and honor that, and she's encouraged by the fact that she did. I couldn't remember if I turned that light on or not. So anyway, I just feel like Holly was so adamant last week that she did not want to go home on Jackson's HOH and it was going to look so bad and she didn't want that to be her legacy. What makes you think she's going to be cool with Jackson being the sole vote to evict her this week? I know she was saying that she would be so okay with 4th place, but like seriously, if Jackson wins the power veto, do you really believe that A, Holly would be cool with him voting her out, and B, Jackson would be cool with voting her out? No, that's ridiculous, insane. It's insane. So Holly and Jackson are whispering alone in the kitchen and he's like, oh, I really wasn't trying to stir shit up with like the whole Tommy lie, but I was truly doing everything that I could to keep you here. And Holly says, I know that you didn't want to resort to that. I didn't want to resort to that. We did not want that to happen. And apparently at first during the house meeting, there might have been multiple house meetings actually. It sounds like there may have been 2 house incidents. So in the first one, it sounds like Jackson was kind of playing it all cool, calm, collected, and Nicole was thinking that's not how you usually act, so she thought that Jackson might have been lying. But then in the second one, Holly and Jackson came in guns a-blazing straight to hell, and Jackson saying I had to be aggressive and loud so that they would believe that I was telling the truth. So apparently it went really freaking crazy and off the rails. So he's like, it was Tommy or you. I had to do it to make sure you stayed. And Holly says, yeah, well, the deal that I offered Cliff and Nicole to stay, it's really gonna F both of us. She promised not only to throw the HOH competition, but also to throw the power veto competition. Will she follow through? Also, why are you here? This whole like throwing competitions this late in the game is really annoying and it's really lame to watch. I want to see people battle it out in these final competitions, not making these deals like I will throw any competition that's left. That is so pathetic. Like, why are you even there? They should have just voted her out. But anyway, Cliff and Jackson chat again and they are talking about the final 3 deal that they made. So we get a little bit more information here because Jackson's asking Cliff, are you kind of regretting making the deal with me? Because I saw you over there and you looked like you were like really deep in thought and I'm just wondering if you regret it. This is like when Jackson dumped Holly because she didn't want to do him on the feeds anymore. Did you regret it? So Cliff says, no. Apparently, earlier, before the vote and everything, Jackson offered, or like said, I'm gonna vote out Holly if I win the power veto and I wanna go to the final 3 with Cliff and Nicole. Which again is freaking insane and unrealistic. But Cliff says that he took it a step further and he offered to keep Jackson if he won the power veto. Why did you do that? When you didn't have to. You didn't have to do it. You were in the power position. You are being offered things in return for voting to keep Holly. You didn't have to offer anything else. So it's like really confusing why he did that. What were you thinking? So he says he's kind of scared that he did that. It was a big risk because obviously Jackson is such a strong competitor and has a great resume, I guess. I mean, he didn't take out the biggest players, but he's got a lot of comp wins. And now he's got the freaking Tommy lie that he can use. They don't know that though. So then, yeah, he likes the idea of going head to head, even if he is scared. So they talk about going to the final 2 together. They're both saying that they would be honored to lose to each other. I guess if Holly's gone, Jackson would pick Cliff over Nicole because he probably feels like he has a better chance of beating Cliff. But I'm pretty sure / hope that Cliff is just BSing Jackson and he's just trying to make sure that Jackson will choose him if he wins the final HOH. But I don't think that Cliff would actually take Jackson to the final 2 if it was up to him. No way. So Cliff talks to Nicole in the RV room And Cliff is like, oh my god, your final 3, it's so exciting. And Nicole's like, I know, I can't believe it. So then Nicole's saying, I want you to know, I am going to be gunning for the power veto. Like, even though she's safe and she's in the final 3, she wants to make sure that Cliff is there too. So she will be fighting hard for it. So Cliff talks about the deal that he made with Jackson. And he's saying, you know, I probably could have held out on making my end of the deal with Jackson. You know, like saying that I would take him to the final 3. But he was worried. He was just like really panicky. And Nicole's like, no, what? No, it was smart. It was a good move. No. And Cliff says, if I win the power veto, I'm probably gonna honor that deal and keep Jackson. So Nicole says, okay, well, let's cross that bridge if we get to it. You know, we don't have to worry about that right now. She does not want Jackson in the final 3. So Cliff is saying, yeah, but I'm pretty sure I would keep the deal. So then Cliff is saying that agreement was only him. You know, it was only him saying that he would take Jackson to the final 3. He wasn't speaking for Nicole. And he feels bad that he made the deal without checking with her first, but she's like, no, it's fine. So by making this deal, he wasn't completely leaving Nicole out of it. He wasn't leaving her out to dry, because Jackson was saying, I would go to the final 3 with you and Nicole, but Cliff was just promising, if I win the veto, I would take you. Still, can you really trust that Jackson would vote out Holly? Because so Nicole's saying, no, it's okay, it's fine. But she feels like down the line, if Jackson does make it to the final 3 and say he does win the final HOH, he would probably take you to the end, not me. And she says, but that's okay. So Cliff says, maybe. I don't know what Jackson would do. Come on, you were just talking about this shit. So Nicole says, I'm just grateful to be in the final 3. I think she's still just on cloud 9 that she won that competition, even if it was because she was up against Cliff and because Holly threw it. She still made it to the final 3. So then Cliff and Nicole are saying they're still on board to take each other to the final 2, duh. And they say that Holly agreed to throw the power veto competition. They're pretty excited about that because they feel like, okay, Holly's gonna throw it, and Jackson is saying that he would vote Holly out, so Cliff should be good. So then they're trying to look for loopholes in this agreement. Maybe if Nicole wins the power veto, yes, Cliff will still be voting, but he could say like, oh, the decision is up to Nicole because she won, and then he could vote out Jackson maybe. Because the deal he made was only if he wins the power veto. He didn't say like, if it's up to me. So maybe you could get around that, I don't know. It didn't include anything about Nicole winning. So again, they're gonna wait and see what happens with the veto before they decide anything like that. But they think that Jackson's gonna keep his word and keep Cliff if he wins the power veto. You've already heard what I think about that. It's bullshit. Okay, so Jackson and Holly were talking in the bathroom area. Oh my god. Jackson says he could not sit there and watch Holly get robbed of Final 4 because of him. Robbed? Robbed? I don't know that I would call it robbed. But he says, but I feel like I just screwed somebody over. I mean, you did. Again, well within his rights in the Big Brother game, right? But he did, so you gotta deal with the consequences now. So Holly says, I feel grateful to be here, but also really guilty, especially because Tommy was the one that had to go so I could stay. So apparently Tommy told Jackson on his way out, you effing got me, you piece of shit. So that's, you know, not sitting well with Jackson. And Holly says, trust me, I feel disgusted about it, but I would have gone and you wouldn't have had a fighting chance. You know, everybody would have been against you. So Jackson says everything from today makes him sick to his stomach. And Holly agrees, but he says he's just so glad that she's still here. All right, so then Holly says she feels absolutely sick that she had to throw that HOH competition. That's on you. you. That is on you. You didn't have to follow through with that. Again, this is Big Brother. She would have been well within her rights to go back on that agreement, whatever. And if she wasn't going to, you should just freaking be happy that you're there because you're so happy with going out fourth. Would you rather be on your way to the jury house? So she says, I've waited all season for that competition and I knew that I could kill it. I literally could have stayed up there all night and been fine. You know what I hear? We're gonna be hearing about this all week, how Holly could have won this competition. So Jackson says, yeah, but if you didn't make that deal and you won HOH, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because Cliff and Nicole still could have won the power veto and taken me out. You know, we needed that deal. So Holly's asking, well, did you promise to throw the power veto competition? Because she did. And Jackson says, I can't remember if that was part of the deal. That's convenient. But in all fairness, Cliff and Nicole don't seem to remember either if that was actually part of the deal or not. But Jackson's saying, I don't want to ask about it because maybe they don't know either. You know, he doesn't want to open up that can of worms. So he's going to play it as if he didn't promise he was going to throw it. I would assume that he did not promise that. So Holly says, it's really hard for me to be happy about her being HOH right now. And I know that's petty. But that was my competition to win. Not necessarily. You never know what could have happened because you know Holly's always talking about all of her ailments and all of her aches and pains. So who knows if she would have actually beaten Nicole in that fair and square. I don't know. So anyway, Holly's also saying I could have gotten a letter. I've been waiting all summer. You've already won HOH twice and you got a letter both times. So what are you talking about? So then Jackson starts crying. And he says, oh, F, I love Tommy. He's saying, I didn't want to have to do that. I didn't want to have to hurt him. I just couldn't lose you. So he keeps saying that Tommy's such a good guy and he didn't want to have to do that and I love that dude. And Jackson says, I've never felt shittier about myself. Really? I find that a little hard to believe. No offense. But Holly says, Tommy loves this game. He's gonna understand that you had to do that. You know, he's gonna get it. And Holly says, none of this would have happened if Nicole and Cliff had just stuck to their word. Okay, so Jackson says, I know, but it breaks my heart. He says, this is where it's just like, what? Jackson says, I never wanted to hurt anybody in this game. I never wanted to make it personal. I never wanted to see somebody cry because of me. Kat and Holly say hi. Oh my god, he never freaking cared when he made them cry about some very personal matters. If I was Holly, I would have been like, excuse me? So, yeah, he says there's just nothing I wouldn't try to do for you. And Jackson said, except for treat you like a human. So then Jackson says that he could really use a hug from his mom right now. And he says, where's Mama when I need her? Where's Mama? Okay, so a few more minutes of this. He's crying, he's upset. Holly's trying to comfort him. She's encouraging him to let it all out. Because this is the first time he's cried all season. So Jackson says that's not the kind of game he wanted to play. Well, you are. And he says, I don't want to hate myself when I watch this back. Nah! Okay, so cool. Let's talk about Nicole's HOH room reveal. Her pictures, she got a picture of her dog when it was just a puppy. I think it's a she actually. When she was just a puppy, George Peach. We got a picture of a blonde Nicole, picture of her with her sisters, very nice. She got more unicorn stuff, an owl onesie from Pop TV, all of her fave snacks, and her music is Eric Church, which she requested for Jackson because he requested Backstreet Boys for her last week. Okay, and she got a letter from her middle sister, Kayla, and her sister made it clear that they are all very proud of her on the outside. So take that, turds. Remember how Jackson and Holly were like, oh, I don't think it's gonna look good, and Nicole's family and her students are not gonna be proud of her or whatever. So anyway, her sister also let her know that her dog has been watching, and she gets all excited when she hears Nicole's voice. That's so cute. Okay, so later, Nicole talks to the cameras in the HOH room, and she admits Cliff's agreement with Jackson does make her kind of nervous because she feels like there's probably more to it. She's wondering, did Jackson promise Cliff that he would take him to the final 2? That's not good for her, right? So Nicole says, I don't want 3rd place, and I'm not going to settle for 3rd place. She says, I can win these competitions, I can make it to the final 2. It also makes her nervous that Cliff is closer to Jackson and Holly. She knows she kind of burned her bridge with them by by wanting to keep Tommy last week. They are very aware of that, so obviously they're going to favor Cliff over her, and that makes her nervous. But she says, you know, I feel like Cliff is still going to take me to the final 2, which is true. But she really wants to win this power veto to keep Cliff safe going into the final 3. All right, Cliff also talked to the cameras, and he's saying, oh, I feel like if I can make it to the final 3, I'm pretty much going to be guaranteed final 2, because Nicole would take me, Jackson's saying he would take me. I don't know that Jackson would even take him to the final 3, let alone final 2, but that's also assuming that Holly goes this week. So Cliff also says if it is up to him, if he wins that final HOH, he's taking Nicole to the final 2. Woo woo! And he's hoping that he would be able to make some sort of argument against either Jackson or Nicole in the final 2. All right, we'll see what happens. So today, the feeds were down all morning, and it turns out they had a luxury competition, and it sounds like Ovi was there hosting. That's fun. And it sounds like Jackson won some money. I guess you can vote him out now. He won another prize. Get him out of here. So anyway, nominations should be later. This is really just a formality. I think it's pretty safe to say that Nicole will be nominating Jackson and Holly, but as we all know, it really comes down to the power veto this week. That person is going to be the sole vote to evict this week. Or if Nicole wins, she gets to pick who will be voting. So if you guys want to check back later, I'll post the nominations in the info box for this spoiler, but the power veto should be tomorrow, and it should be exciting to see what happens. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until next time, much love!